Okay, nerds, it's time to get your kicks. Here on Route 66, Lublin, Poland. Beware, they are here. Good morning from Lublin, Poland. As you can possibly hear in the background, the crows are in good voice this morning, and I find myself being accommodated at a rather interesting place. It's called Forest Hostel. It actually seems to have operated as a humanitarian aid point, offering shelter to Ukrainian refugees back in 2022 in particular. However, it's a hostel, Forest Hostel. You'll see it on booking.com and perhaps other booking sites as well. So if you're looking for backpacking accommodation, I wouldn't let it put you off. There are a few Ukrainian and Polish people staying in the hostel, but it's not overcrowded, and they seem to be very friendly and pleasant people, as does the gentleman who checked me in at the reception. Today I'm going to take a little walk. Hopefully I'll find out it isn't too far to walk to the old city centre, the old town, the Stare Miasto. I have to admit, when I arrived here by train from Warsaw, which was a journey of just under 2 hours by train, second class ticket in the region of €5, I think it cost me. I was then faced on arrival with a, in theory, 35-minute walk, which did involve a walk through a park, and it really, well, can I honestly say it really wasn't clear at what point I should exit the park and then take up the route to the hostel. Or should I say I made a bit of a cock up, came out of the park at the wrong point, and yeah, ended up getting a little confused. So the walk here didn't take me the 35 minutes that Google Maps was suggesting. It took me a little longer, but only about 10 minutes longer. And I met some kindly folk along the way who, once I could mention a street name, were able to say, yeah, you're on that street. Which street do you want? And when I told them the street I was after, they were able to say, yeah, it's the next one on the left. So one of those situations when you feel, I'm not exactly lost, but I'm kind of lost. But it's almost at your fingertips where you want to actually be. It's funny, one of my roommates, very nice young man from Morocco, Mr. Moad, he is a student here in Lublin, and he told me that the night before I arrived, he had been out for a bit of a walk and a bus ride, and on his way back things had got a bit dark, and he found himself in the broad area that he was familiar with. He knew, yep, the hostel's here, but because it was darkness more than anything, things can look a little bit different, and it can look like, no, I've never been here before in my life, just because you haven't seen the place in darkness before. So he ended up having to use Uber for a 17 zloty car ride of about 3 minutes. The driver felt a bit embarrassed, apparently, about taking the money, and he pointed out how close he actually was to the hostel, but in the darkness, yeah, he might as well have been in the middle of the Sahara Desert. Anyway, the Uber driver helped him out, so well done to the Uber driver. And the cost of 17 zloty wasn't horrendously exorbitant. The driver didn't take him on a, big roundabout route and say, oh, well, actually, there's a toll for this bridge and all that other extra nonsense that sometimes people can fall foul of when you just get the wrong driver who's a bit of a cheater. So well done to the Polish Uber driver for doing the right thing. This location, apparently where the Forest Hostel is located, is ideal if you're perhaps arriving as a student and you don't automatically have your accommodation set up, because all around are university students studying and living. All the university faculties are within a bit more than a stone's throw of the hostel, but broadly speaking, we're in that territory. So if you are coming to Lublin and you haven't already been allocated a student dorm place, or perhaps you're set on the idea of maybe getting a place of your own or an apartment to share, and you just want accommodation for the very short term until you've got that arranged, then Forest Hostel actually works out as a rather handy spot for you. It is a little bit out of the way of the train station and the bus station and the actual city centre, but as I say, if you're coming here as a student, you're in student land. And what I'm also told on good authority is there's a very popular Żabka convenience store just here on the right hand side, 5-minute walk from the hostel. And I'm not sure if I just walked past it actually by mistake or if it's just about to come up. But do be warned, because there are lots of students around. The convenience store can sell out quite quickly, and therefore if you're not up early in the morning to get your microwavable breakfast or whatever it is you feel like getting, they might have run out of some of the things you would ideally want to pick up. But if that happens, it's only about a 20-minute walk in the other direction to the nearest Biedronka, which is very closely located next door to the big media market. So if you're in need of a new keyboard, laptop, want to buy an iPad or whatever you need electronically, that could be a useful location. Whether you're working here, studying here, always handy to know where you can get those electronic bits and pieces. New headphones, for example, new mouse for the laptop. So you've really got a choice when you come to Lublin. Do you want to focus on the Stare Miasto, the historical old centre, or are you wanting to be in the university hub? Most of us would ideally want to be located in the old town. The reason I chose this accommodation on this visit to Lublin was because previously I've stayed close to the old town, just on the edge, and I felt, yeah, why not see a different side of Lublin, quite literally. I've never been here before and there would be nothing to bring me here typically. However, it's nice to see a town you've visited before from a different viewpoint, I find. And also, okay, I admit it, the Forest Hostel was the cheapest hostel in town. But it isn't always about saving just that €1 here or there, is it? There are a couple of other hostels, but at the time of booking, Forest Hostel was the one I chose. And one of the other hostels is about halfway between where I am here and the old town. I've just been distracted. You know, I get distracted easily. Oh, that's nice, isn't it? There's another couple of hostels halfway between here and the old town. One of them's called something like Hostel Centrum, which kind of lures you in a bit with that name, because you'll assume you are in the centre However, if you're looking for something a little bit more right in the old town, then yeah, you won't find a hostel. Not at the time of me booking my accommodation here anyway. Maybe one's just been set up, but there isn't one where from the window you can overlook the old town square and easily just pop down the stairs with your loved one and gleefully choose where you're going to sit down and watch the world go by from a cafe, drinking your delicious beverage of choice in the morning, and perhaps, why not a chocolate croissant? Oh, I think I probably have to apologise again. Sorry for the irritating menthol sweet, but I've got myself another chest infection, cough, cold, not flu virus, it's not that serious, no fever, but I seem to pick up a cold every time. I've had a break from hostel dormitories and I've been in a private room for a while. I don't know why, it seems as though my immune system goes on holiday, so that when I then go next into a hostel dormitory, if somebody's sick, I pick it up. And then I met a friend, just as I thought I was getting over my cold, I met a friend the other day. She had a chest infection, and I think we probably exchanged infections because we've both seemed to be on the way back up and just taken a dip again and needed a little bit more medicine to help us get over it. Such is life. And I've been introduced by the Polish chemist to herbal options. I was surprised that both aptekas, or pharmacies, however you want to describe them, which I went into, both came up with their first choice was herbal medicine rather than something stronger. So the herbal medicine will take that little bit longer, if it's going to work at all, and probably takes a lot of faith as well. I'm taking some tablets called Hostel Max, which are basically IV extract, not poison ivy extract, hopefully. But I decided to supplement that with a syrup because I was impatient that I wasn't shifting the crap off my chest fast enough. So I'm also taking a sort of honey-based, honey and herb syrup, and yes, a double whammy, which will hopefully get my tubes all clear and back to normal in double quick time. Yummy, yummy, yummy. I've got some street art in my tummy. Cool. And I promise you, this is just by complete chance. Here's that Hostel Centrum I mentioned. Hostel Centrum 51, Ulica Narutowicza. So if you're staying here, you're right on a very popular road with a useful Żabka convenience store over there. It does look as though you do need to have a working phone and possible Polish language skills in order to get the attention of reception. But I can't be sure of that, of course, because I'm not trying it out myself. A little bit of a look at just the general architecture. After all, I'm sure that many of you will get pretty fed up of seeing my ugly mug in front of the camera all the time. And while I'm trying not to upset anybody by getting strangers in my videos, I know there'll be plenty of folk who would like to see, oh, what do the average streets in Lublin look like? Well, it's a nice little fountain feature over there, which I'm drawn to. And there we have the horned ram, or goat, whatever he is. It's not Pan, even though that goat is appearing to feast on grapes. It's not the mythical creature Pan. It's a full goat, or maybe a mouflon. And that seems to be the emblem of Lublin. Oh no, we're shooting into the sun. Jesus Christos. I'm indebted to these characters for holding up the roof and possibly holding up the whole building. 2 Herculean figures for the price of 1. And I'm also very pleased to see, very grateful that somebody has put 1914 on the facade of this building. I can't believe that the original building is only a little over 100 years old, or 110 years old. But perhaps the new facade or renovation was from 1914. Of course, as you know, I'm no art historian. Oh, hello, cheeky. Prrr. It's not just Ukraine which cares for these types of memorial plaques outside of buildings where famous, notable characters have lived and perhaps carried out heroic deeds. Oh, it seems I've stumbled upon the Trail of Famous Lublin Citizens, the memorial to Jan Kochanowski. In 1931, the memorial to Jan Kochanowski. Oh, crikey, he goes back a long way. The memorial was executed by Franciszek Strinkiewicz on the occasion of the 400th anniversary of the birth of the writer. It was originally situated next to the Crown Court in the Old Town. Jan Kochanowski was the most outstanding Polish poet of the pre-partition era. He visited Lublin frequently and witnessed great moments in the history of Poland. The signing of the Union of Lublin in 1569 and the Prussian homage. He described these events in his poems. There's a reference there to something I've heard of, the Union of Lublin in 1569. That refers to when formerly Poland and Lithuania linked up to create this Commonwealth. Vast empire which stretched down almost as far as the Black Sea to the south. There was apparently a less formal official union between the two nations towards the end of the 14th century, in the 1380s, 1390s I think it was. But the most significant and binding agreement between Lithuania and Poland took place during the middle of the 16th century, the golden age for Polish historians, I suppose you would call it, if you consider building a large empire and taking land of neighbours as glorious. Now, I'm just wondering whether this is actually stating that a school was present here between the years 1412 and 1426. Queen Władysława Jagiella. Oh, hang on a minute. Grunwald. Battle of Grunwald. My Polish is almost non-existent. Let me know in the comments what this actually refers to, will you? If you'd be so kind, I'd appreciate that.